Hello, I'm John Rossi, a touring drummer with a love of all things animal. When I'm on the road, I visit as many zoos, aquariums... Hey, wait a minute. What's going on? Hey, what's going on there? Hello? Hello? Hello?
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you Rossifari Zoo news. News you can use from the world of zoos and conservation. Every week, we bring you breaking news and analysis from around the globe, featuring the animals you love and the people who care for them. And here's your anchorman, John Rossi.
Hello, hi, hello. Welcome back to Rossifari Zoo News, your look at everything going on in the world of zoos, aquariums, conservation, and general animal weirdness. And speaking of, animals and conservation, I'm going to start off this week by reminding y'all, if you have not yet, it is now the time to go and donate to my fundraiser for the Cheetah Conservation Fund. You can find the links on all of my social media pages. And the idea here is to sponsor a livestock guarding dog for Cheetah Conservation Fund. Costs about $500. Well, I don't know why I said about. It costs exactly $500 to sponsor a dog for a year. And I would really love Rossifari to be able to say that we sponsored a dog. I think it would be really, really amazing to be able to do that. So please consider going and making any donation that you can, even $1, even $2, even $3, even $4. Okay, I'm going to stop, but you get the point. Every little bit helps. And I love the idea. I love every time that the podcast has gone and done some fundraising for a zoo or for Red Panda Network or whatever. It always makes me feel really good. And I love doing that in general. But in this case, the idea of being able to say that for the whole next year, Rossifari is just sponsoring a dog that is helping keep cheetahs alive and helping other animals in Africa in general. That's just really cool and like a really tangible thing that we can do. I'm really passionate about this idea. I'm really thankful to everyone who has donated so far, and I'd love for you to consider donating. And don't forget, if you do donate $5 or more, you can pick the pick. That's right. When I thank you for it, you can choose any animal that I've taken photos of, and I will post a new one if I have it, or a really good one if I don't, of whatever animal you want to see, as long as I've got one. And, a big part of that is that our friends at the Greensboro Science Center recently gave me some really cool access to the baby red pandas there, and the baby binturongs, or as we like to say, the pandlets and bintlets, and, some other really cool animals there. And so I've got a lot of really great photos of those amazing animals. If you would like to see some adorableness, go and make a donation and help me help cheetahs. Along with that, let's see, today I'm recording this on August 10th, which is Thursday, and it is Miles's 9th birthday. So Miles is my son, and man, I can't believe that he's already 9 years old. It seems like just yesterday he was only 8. Get it? Because today's his birthday. Okay, I know, but no, it's amazing seeing what a brilliant and caring young man he has become, and how passionate he is about the things that he loves to do. And he's found some things that are really his own. He's playing guitar, and his teacher says that he's doing like wildly well for anyone of any age who's been playing for about a year now. And he's into video games at a ridiculous level, and actually has learned some coding and makes levels in Mario Maker and stuff. And he kind of thinks he wants to be a video game designer right now, although he also thinks he wants to be a bunch of other things. But I do think that is his like main kind of view of what he's going to do in the future right now. And he makes stop motion films with Legos, like just stuff that I don't know where it came from. And I mean, honestly, I do. I got him the guitar, and I literally got him a book about how to make stop motion Lego films that led to him starting to make them. But with the passion and the drive that he does, there's nothing like that in our family, really. And I love seeing that. I love seeing that passion. I love seeing that so much because literally, as I was walking up to my podcast studio to record this, I glanced into my drum studio and I saw my Ludwig kit sitting there. And let's just say that I understand where the boy gets passion from, even if it is a different kind of passion. So happy birthday, Miles. And let's get to Zoo News. And in case you don't remember, or this is your first time here, Zoo News is a collaborative effort. So if you see anything that is Zoo News worthy, you can tag me in it at Rossifari on socials or at RossiFariPod on TikTok, or email it to me, rossifaripod@gmail.com. And I will say your name at the end of the episode as a way of saying thanks. So you can become an even bigger part of the Rossifari community by doing that. And of course, make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast and following those social media channels and all of that. Okay, enough. Let's get to the thing. All right, y'all. So we normally start off with our births and our deaths for the week, but actually I have such cool and exciting news, and I have been sitting on this for a little bit now, and I can't wait to share it with you. So, well, I'm not going to wait to share it with you, but I'm actually not even going to be the one to share it with you. So you've heard them on here before on Zoo News and on their own episodes recently, but I'm going to turn it on over to my good friends, Bekah and Kelly from the Greensboro Science Center.
Hi, it's Bekah.
And Kelly from the Greensboro Science Center.
And we have a pretty big announcement.
Yes, we do, Bekah. We're really excited to announce that we have received one female red panda cub named Miso from the Smithsonian Institute. We received her today as a companion for Zuko and Azula. She was born June 10th, and we're really excited to have her.
We are super excited to have her.
And I am also super excited that they have her for a couple of reasons. First of all, because you can see the panda cubs, the pandlets, in the veterinary hospital, which is open to the public, at Greensboro. So now you can not just see their 2 cubs that they have, but they have 3 cubs now. Second of all, I think it's really cool because they now have both species of red pandas represented at the zoo as they raise this little goober. And also, I'm just excited about this because for a while now, Sarah Glass, the person who runs the Red Panda SSP, has been doing the occasional Red Panda Kindergarten, which is basically whenever there is a red panda who the mother doesn't want to raise it and it's just a singlet, they try to raise it with other cubs. And it's been happening at Knoxville with Sarah whenever it happens because, well, A, she's really good at red pandas, and B, she's a sucker who says yes when other people don't want to take on an extra cub. No, but so Sarah's actually been looking for a new facility to help with Red Panda kindergartening for a while now. And I'm so excited that she has chosen Greensboro Science Center to be doing this. I'm so excited for Kelly and Bekah and the whole team there. And I can't wait to go back yet again and see this red panda cub because, yes, they keep coming up with new ways to get me back there. No exaggeration, folks. I keep going at least once a month to Greensboro, North Carolina. That's just, it just keeps happening. And I've got no complaints, y'all. So congrats to the team there. And I cannot wait to see how this baby settles in with the rest of the family. All right, and then that moves us into our births and deaths for the week. So we'll start with the births, which start at the Duke Lemur Center, where they have announced 5 new gray mouse lemurs. Gray mouse lemlets? These are really, really tiny infants. The adults weigh between 1.5 and 3 ounces. So the infants are born at less than 1/10 of an ounce. And if you go to @Duke Lemur Center, you can see pictures of these ridiculously tiny lemlets. And yes, they are every bit as adorable as you would expect. On the other side of things, size-wise, Wildwood Wildlife Park has announced the birth of a new baby giraffe named Tafari, which means king. The giraffe is on exhibit, and so you can go and see a very, very young giraffe on exhibit there right now. And it's just really an exciting time for the Wildwood Wildlife Park. Congrats on the new giraffe, which weighs slightly more than 1/10 of an ounce. But then going back to the small animals, Cleveland Metro Park Zoo has announced the birth of a baby. I mean, what else could it be? It was just born. It can't be born as an adult, John. But anyway, a baby pygmy slow loris, or a pygmy slow lorlet. Ooh, I like that one a lot. Baby is doing well and hanging out with mom as they do. And so, congrats to the team at the Cleveland Metro Parks Zoo. And then zooming right back up to a large animal again. I don't know why I'm doing this way. This was not intentional. The Henry Dorley Zoo in Omaha has announced the birth of a new elephant calf. This was a birth to Jaye, which is the matriarch of the elephant herd, who is around 30 years old. And she's been a mom before. So while the other elephants in the herd actually seemed like a little concerned and curious about what was going on, mom has been absolutely calm and absolutely wonderful and doing the mom thing at an exceptionally high level. So it looks like there's not going to be any need to jump in and hand rear or anything. And so it looks like the Omaha's Henry Dorley Zoo has another new adorable elephant that you can go and check out. And moving on with births, the Akron Zoo has announced the birth of 3 snowy owlets, which is the actual name for them, so I don't get to be silly and change it, that have been hatched at the zoo. They were actually hatched on 3 different days, July 1st, 3rd, and 6th. And parents Frost and Cirrus are doing very well taking care of the owlets. They are not on exhibit right now, but they will have it announced on Akron Zoo social media when you can go and see these baby birdlets. See, I still got a weird one in there. I'm good at this. Sorry. Anyway, the Roger Williams Park Zoo has announced the birth of a new baby sloth. Slothlet? It's harder on the one syllable ones. But this sloth was born to Mom Fiona and Dad Westley. And y'all, this baby is really stinking cute. I highly recommend that you go to @RWP Zoo to check out the pictures because this slothlet is abso-freaking-lutely adorable. And then last but not least in our births this week, Saffron has been born. Saffron is a baby mandrill that was born at Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park. And, I've actually had a couple people ask me this. And so just if you don't know, Animal Kingdom is a theme park, but it is also like a very good accredited zoo where they do really amazing work and incredible research. And they are, like I said, they are accredited and they're actually kind of one of the leading zoos in the field as far as research and trying to even just kind of connect with other zoos and unite zoos and share information and stuff like that. They are really incredible. So, if you ever feel a little weird about it being like a theme park, but a zoo, nah, they're doing things right there. They really are. And so they have a new baby mandrillet. That's tricky. Mandlet. That's what it is. I don't know what's wrong with me today. But Saffron the mandlet is now at Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park. So congrats to the team at Disney. Thanks, John. And now we head from that to the deaths this week. And we're starting off with a really sad one. I mean, they're all sad, they're deaths. But from our friends at the Trevor Zoo at Millbrook School. Unfortunately, two of the ring-tailed lemurs at the zoo, Foster and London, were showing signs of sickness this week, and their symptoms were consistent with an infection, and they did everything that they could to help them, but unfortunately, it was not enough, and both lemurs had to be euthanized. This is especially challenging as Lorelei, the female in the troop, recently had a baby. So right now, those two seem healthy, no signs of illness at all. But yeah, really tough time for the Trevor Zoo. That's really painful. And they're currently awaiting the test results, which will hopefully shed a light on exactly what happened to the lemurs. ZooAtlanta has announced the passing of Biji, the Sumatran orangutan. Now, at the time of her passing, Biji was 52 years old and had been being treated for advancing kidney failure, and unfortunately, it got bad enough that they had to make the decision to euthanize. But it's worth mentioning that 52 is an incredible age for an orangutan, which is considered geriatric by the age of 40. One thing that made Biji really special is that she did a lot of training to participate in her own healthcare, including participating in regular blood draws, which actually helped the team at ZooAtlanta identify her kidney disease early 9 years ago, which led to a proper treatment plan, which then led to her living to this incredible age. So even though it is sad to see her gone, it is amazing to see how well the zoo did taking care of her, even with this issue. And one of the interesting things about Biji beyond that is that she was actually one of the original founding members of the great ape population at ZooAtlanta. So she has been there since 1988. And like I said, was one of the original members of the population. So absolutely incredible life. And while it is so sad that she is gone, I mean, what an amazing testament to just the incredible work being done at ZooAtlanta. The Chattanooga Zoo has announced the passing of Foxy, the beautiful coyote that lived at the zoo for 16 years. Unfortunately, Foxy recently started facing some mobility challenges, and unfortunately, she was responding well to treatment at first, but then it stopped going so well, and she decided to go off food and medication entirely, which showed that she actually had a mass in her brain and also pancreatitis. That's just a lot going on, and so unfortunately, the team had to decide to euthanize. 16 years is a great lifespan for a coyote, and Foxy was very beloved, so it's very sad to see her go. Sending our condolences to everyone at the Chattanooga Zoo. And keeping with the trend of saying goodbye to older animals, Zoo Miami recently had to make the decision to euthanize the female black-necked stork that lived at their zoo since 1977, and she was estimated at over 50 years old, and was believed to have been the oldest black-necked stork under human care in the world. Absolutely beautiful animal, and very sad to see her go. Sending our condolences to Ron McGill and the team at Zoo Miami. And man, you can't help but feel bad for the Pittsburgh Zoo right now. We mentioned that last week they lost Kovu, their red panda, unexpectedly. And then this week we have to announce the passing of 6-year-old male African lion, Kit. Kit was showing signs of visible illness and was taken to the vet hospital, and an x-ray there revealed that there was something blocking his digestive system. The animal care team quickly did an emergency surgery to remove the blockage, but Kit did not survive the surgery, which is, not entirely surprising. Whenever you have a blockage like that, it is a high-risk surgery. And the zoo does want it to be stressed in their press stuff that the deaths, while tragic in their near timing, are not related. And that absolutely makes sense. The Pittsburgh Zoo is a great zoo. I really love it there, and it is very, very sad to see this happen. If you've seen any of the photos that I've taken of the lions at the Pittsburgh Zoo, especially when they had their cubs a couple of years ago, this would be the father of those cubs. He lived there with two female lions, Abana and Scarlet, and then they had their three cubs that lived there but have since moved on. So very sad to see the passing of this incredible lion, but nice to know that at least there's a litter of cubs out there with his genetics. And last but not least in the deaths category, Mesker Park Zoo has announced the passing of their male Bactrian camel, Franklin. Franklin had just turned 21 years old, which is a very good age for a Bactrian camel. And unfortunately, he had been dealing with some serious arthritis for many, many years. And they did such amazing care for Franklin, including coming up with new ways to get him to take his medications when he tried not to, managing his weight seasonally in a way that is often very hard to do for hoofstock, and then even doing stem cell therapy to help ease his pain from his arthritis. Unfortunately, all of those treatments stopped working over time, but they probably bought Franklin a solid 4 extra years of a happy, healthy life. Keepers describe Franklin as very, very sassy, which I just love because sassy camel is just the best kind of camel. And again, just another example of an incredible zoo doing incredible work to really give animals long and amazing lives. And, I feel like a lot of times I end up saying repeatedly during the death section, well, this is proof that zoos do a great job keeping animals alive a long time. But I find it interesting that this week, 3 different zoos have announced milestones of their current living animals making it really long. So I thought I would point those out since these animals didn't have to die to get me to say it. First of all, the Naples Zoo recently celebrated the 50th birthday of Scanner, the spider monkey. Now, spider monkeys can live a long life in captivity, but they typically only reach around 40 or so. So 50 is a really, really amazing number to reach. And beyond that, if we're going to talk about high numbers, 50 is impressive. But what about 60? Maybe even higher than 60? A spider monkey at Zoo Boise named Elvis is in his 60s. They don't know the exact age, but it makes Elvis one of the oldest, if not the oldest, spider monkey alive in the world. The king of rock and roll, the king of spider monkeys, over 60 years old, absolutely incredible. So again, a testament to the great care given by Zoo Boise. And then even though the number is significantly smaller, that's because of the animal that it is. But Capron Park Zoo recently announced the age of their bush-tailed betong, which is 14 years old. Now, while 14 years old isn't as impressive as 50 or 60, the average lifespan of betongs is 4 to maybe 6 years old. So more than doubling that is incredible. The betong in question is named Elton and is absolutely adorable. So congrats to these 3 zoos for doing amazing work and keeping these animals alive so dang long and not having me just say that when I eventually announce their passing. Yay, that. The Wilds Safari Park, which is the safari park associated with the Columbus Zoo, is now the home of heirs. And no, I don't mean like HEIRS or even just the fact that there is air there, although there is, but I am referring to the American Institute of Rhinoceros Science. Scientists at heirs tackle the scientific challenges for sustaining rhino populations through 4 research pillars: physical fitness, well-being, reproduction, and iron overload disorder. Wow, that got weirdly specific at the end, but hey, whatever. So AIRS is actually a partnership between the Wilds and our friends at the Cincinnati Zoo, and specifically their crew, the science team that you've heard of on this podcast before. And they are doing some really amazing work, including welcoming a new white rhino calf recently. So things are going really well, and it's really cool that AIRS is now homed at the Wilds. We mentioned on here not too long ago that the Santa Barbara Zoo would be getting a red panda and opening a new red panda exhibit, which is really exciting. Well, I can now tell you that that exhibit is officially opened, and that you can now go and see the red panda that was born at the Trevor Zoo a year ago, our good buddy Sandy. Wait. But the press release says Raj, which means rule or kingdom in Hindi, which is cool. But why do zoos keep doing this? I really, really hate this. And I know that I'm not alone, because I had a couple of people send this story to me, and every single one of them caught on to the fact that they were very excited about Sandy. And now Sandy has been renamed Raj. And, Sandy got Sandy's name for a reason. And this just kind of sucks. Like, people like following their animals from zoo to zoo, and people care about this. And I know that we are a small, crazy minority of people, but that's Sandy. And people named Sandy and cared about it. And now a year later, suddenly it's Raj. I will say this, at least it's only a year old. So my guess is that, Sandy isn't too used to the name Sandy yet. This is what worries me when they talk about changing names of animals like Clark, who are trained to know their name and have had that name for 7 years and such. So, I don't know. Is this something that bothers y'all, or do y'all think I'm crazy? Let me know. Reach out on socials or email me, because I have to tell you, not only does this bother me, but it bothers, like I said, a lot of people that I've heard from. Well, okay, some people that I've heard from. So I'm curious to hear what you think. That being said, Santa Barbara Zoo, amazing place. They have a brand new red panda habitat. It is set up for breeding, and they are hoping to get a female for Raj in the future. And so hopefully there will be pandlets there. It's a great zoo. It's great. It's so cool that they have red pandas when they didn't before. I want to go to there. The name thing bugs me. But let's be honest, that's the epitome of a first world problem, and there are real problems happening in the world right now, like the fact that there are wildfires happening all throughout Hawaii, including on the island of Maui. And while there are literally just towns that don't exist anymore, and it's really sad, the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance did announce one very positive thing to come from all of this, which is that they have a team there at the Maui Forest Bird Conservation Center, which is a center that shelters numerous endangered bird species, some of which are extinct in the wild. And there are also obviously SDZWA employees that work there and take care of these birds. And they have announced that everyone, bird and human, is safe. The fires did not affect this incredible facility or any of the wildly endangered birds that live there. So our hearts absolutely go out to the people of Hawaii, but at least there's some good news there in relation to the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance. Two quick stories out of our friends at the Cincinnati Zoo. First of all, they have announced that there is a 3-month-old opossum that was orphaned in the wild and is now in training to become an ambassador animal at the zoo. Her name is Opal, and she is freaking adorable. As an ambassador, she is going to be helping to educate people about the importance of local wildlife. And what can I say? Cincy has done it again. Opal is going to join the ranks of Rico and Fritz and Fiona and, of course, Lucille as just absolutely beloved animals that are at the zoo. So, if you haven't seen pictures of Opal, go check out at Cincinnati Zoo and fall in love like I did, frankly. And the Cincinnati Zoo has also announced that they have teamed up with the London Zoo to try to learn more about okapi pregnancies, because there is still very little known about okapi pregnancies, despite the fact that we've had many okaplets born in captivity. Maybe because they're not real animals, so they don't have pregnancy, but they get. Oh no, we don't do this anymore. Oh, season 4 without the fake okapi is just a little bit darker now. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so the London Zoo is actually trying to use positive reinforcement trans-abdominal ultrasounds to track okapi pregnancies, not just at their own zoo, but at other zoos as well. And the Cincinnati Zoo is one of the zoos that is participating. So they currently have Calvu, who is an expectant mother at the zoo, and they have worked with her to get comfortable with these types of ultrasounds. And one of the crew veterinarians has been performing bi-weekly ultrasounds to assess fetal health and development, and also to help the team at the London Zoo understand more about this to share with all the zoos out there. So just a really cool example of research being done collaboratively between multiple zoos. The Henry Vilas Zoo in Wisconsin announced that one morning at about 4 o'clock in the morning, there was a break-in on zoo grounds. Several individuals went into the zoo and attempted to enter the Glacier Grill restaurant. Now, that is a restaurant that is up against the polar bear habitat, but is not like an actual animal habitat or anything. It is a restaurant. So no one knows exactly what they were trying to do, but probably rob the, safes or tills or even steal food, whatever. Fortunately, the zoo does have overnight security who heard what was going on and who called the cops, and they responded within minutes. And so it looks like nothing was taken and no animals were harmed. And the only thing that happened is that some windows at the restaurant were broken. So nice, easy fix. Hopefully these people get caught. But a great job to the police in Madison and also to the security at the zoo for making this not be a bigger incident. All right, now for a couple of quick hit stories. The WCS, which is the Wildlife Conservation Society, which run all of the zoos in New York City, is currently hosting a Wild View photo contest. You can go check it out. Go to @BronxZoo is probably the easiest place to find it, and submit your photos if you are so interested in doing. Birdland Park has announced that their popular penguin feedings are back. So if you're anywhere near Birdland Park and want to feed a penguin, hop on that because they do sell out quickly. The Memphis Zoo has enlisted Mr. Feeney. All right, so people of a certain age, including myself, will remember the TV show Boy Meets World. And Mr. Feeney was the teacher who went through basically all of like middle school and high school with the students involved. And they always came up with kind of funny reasons why he was suddenly the next year's teacher as well. And now the actor who plays Mr. Feeney does cameos and does other stuff as Mr. Feeney. And he actually did a promotional video for the Memphis Zoo to try to encourage you to come to Zoo Rendezvous 2023, which is the Memphis Zoo's largest fundraiser of the year. So it was pretty cool to see Mr. Feeney helping out the Memphis Zoo. And also slightly shocking to realize that Mr. Feeney has aged that much, because I guess if he did, that means we did too, but yikes. But it's awesome to see him involved with that, and nice to see Mr. Feeney popping up. Maritime Aquarium in Connecticut is currently offering people who are teenagers, aged 14 to 18, to apply for their Eco Teen program, where they will share the issues of marine debris with aquarium guests, while also participating in related work in the field with staff of the aquarium. The deadline for application is Monday, September 4th, and I'm currently wondering if there's anyone out there who thinks that I could play 18. No? Nobody? Oh, okay. That's fair. The National Zoo in Washington, D.C. has announced that they've gotten a brand new ambulance that they are able to use to quickly transport animals from their enclosures to their veterinary hospital whenever needed. The ambulance was funded by donors and members of the zoo, and it's just a nice little thing to make animal healthcare even that much better at the National Zoo. Y'all, Florida is hot. Right? Like, we know that Florida is hot, but Florida is real hot right now. It is a bad time almost everywhere. Tons of heat waves happening all around the United States, but especially in Florida. And as such, our friends at the Naples Zoo have to close early on some days. They've announced that they're closing 3 days in a row by 1 p.m. and are now actually switching their hours to open at 8 o'clock in the morning and close at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, with last admission at 2 o'clock from August 12th through September 30th. These hours are designed to help people beat the heat, and also to make it so that the days start a little earlier for everybody and they can get in a little earlier and see the animals maybe before they get too hot. So it's crazy to see that a zoo actually has to change their hours because of the heat wave right now, but Naples is doing it, so that's pretty cool. The Milwaukee County Zoo has announced a new horse that has joined the zoo. The horse is named Nelson, but he's not just a normal horse. He's a male Norwegian fjord horse. Now, that is the kind of horse that you can see in the Frozen movie franchise. The whole reason I'm even putting this story in here, because really a zoo getting a horse isn't that big of a deal, is just because I need to point out that Frozen 2 was way better than Frozen. I know I'm in the minority with this, and y'all can at me as much as you want, but I will die on this hill. Frozen 2 is the far superior film, and the music is way better as well. That soundtrack is a straight bop, y'all. But anyway, back to Nelson. Nelson at the Milwaukee County Zoo is currently in quarantine, but when he goes out on exhibit, he will be joining a Sicilian donkey named Giuseppe, and they will be friends on habitat together. They're actually, even though they are still doing a quarantine for Nelson, the donkey and the horse can see each other and are already bonding and seem excited about each other. So that is awesome. I think it would be amazing to see such a huge, gorgeous horse. And Frozen 2 is better than Frozen, period. If you're looking to propose to that special someone, or even to someone who's not that special and you just kind of want to propose anyway, I don't know, you do you, the new zoo has your back. They are now offering official animal proposal packages, many of which include animal art, like where they do the little like stepping on the thing or sticking their snoot on the canvas or whatever, with "Will you marry me?" on it. So you can actually propose with animal artwork, and depending on the animals and what you want to do, maybe even with some of the ambassador animals. So if you are looking to propose, I highly, highly recommend doing it with a zoo animal. It works wonders. I'm not just a spokesman, I'm also a client. And last but not least in our quick hits, the Brevard Zoo has recently gotten a $5 million gift from the DSF Charitable Foundation that will play a pivotal role in funding the Sea Turtle Care Complex and the future aquarium and conservation center that the zoo is setting up in Port Canaveral. That is absolutely incredible and will lead to the completion of the aquarium. And over the years, thousands and thousands of sea turtles will be saved there. So an absolutely amazing story, beautiful story, and you love to see it. We have two more stories in the Zoo News segment this week. First of all, our friends at Roger Williams Park Zoo recently saved 2 ducklings, or ducklets. So what happened here is a guest reported that 2 ducklets fell down a storm drain at the zoo. And I want to point out that yet again, here is a guest seeing something happening, saying something, and saving animal lives. So, again, we want to do that if we see something happening, even if sometimes we're worried that keepers will get mad at us or whatever, or think that we are, implying they're not taking care of their animals. If we do it the right way, that won't happen. And then we can actually help animals. So the team went to the storm drain and scooped the ducklings out, but the mother duck had already taken her remaining family to safety and could not be located. So Roger Williams Park Zoo transferred the 2 ducklets to the Wildlife Clinic of Rhode Island, where they are being taken care of and going to go on and have their good ducky lives. So awesome work by the team at the zoo and also by the guests who saw that happen. And then last but not least for this week's Zoo News segment, we have to talk about the Pacific walrus calf, or wallet. I have one of those in my back pocket right now, that has been admitted to the Alaska Sea Life Center as a wildlife response patient. So this is a male walrus and the first patient of that species that has been at the Alaska Sea Life Center in 4 years, and only one of 10 admitted in the 25-year history of the center, which is a really cool and rare opportunity for everyone involved then. Unfortunately, the walrus is not super healthy, and there are a lot of health concerns, but they are posting a lot of updates and pictures, and it's really adorable to see. And what makes it extra adorable is that the walrus, along with needing feedings and all that kind of stuff, really, really needs to be cuddled. Yes, you heard that right. In their first 2 years of life, walrus calves, or wallets as I like to call them, need to get basically constant attention from their mother. They feed them, they cuddle them, they love on them, and they keep them healthy. But they are really social animals, and they love lying up against each other, and especially babies and moms. And so to recreate that for this walrus, the staff is basically going in 24/7 and sitting next to the walrus and letting him snuggle up if he wants to. He currently spends about 75% of his time sleeping, and he likes to do most of that cuddled up. So the team there is getting to cuddle this baby walrus, which is incredible and kind of makes me want to get into wildlife rescue. And while that is a cute part of the story, the latest update is still scary. The calf continues to have issues with maldigestion and malabsorption of nutrients. There was a full 12-hour span with no bowel movements at all, although he then did poop, which got everybody very excited, which is kind of weird in a, out of this context way. But yeah, they'll continue to update. So make sure you're following at Alaska Sea Life Center. And here's hoping this works out. But whether it does or not, props to the team for doing such amazing work and for also just getting to cuddle a walrus professionally.
Stereotypical animal podcast theme song. Here to bring you to conservation news.
All right, we're going to start off conservation news with a quick update on Toki the whale, who you've heard all kinds of stuff about on here. So recently, IMATA, the International Marine Animal Trainers Association, reached out to the Miami Seaquarium, where Toki lives, and to the Dolphin Company, which is the company that owns Miami Seaquarium, to ask which zoological institutions, accrediting bodies, or regulatory agencies did they seek input from regarding relocation, rehousing, and training of Toki and the Pacific white-sided dolphins prior to determining that relocation to a sea pen would be the best option. And the answer was none. Absolutely none. Meanwhile, Jim Irsay, the president of the Colts, keeps saying that this is going to be happening and that the timeline is moving up and that this will happen probably before the end of the year. This despite the fact that no attempt at getting permits or having any kind of inspection or anything done has been even started. So seems to me like it's all still BS, but we'll be keeping an eye on it just in case. Dr. Jane Goodall is going on tour. Apparently, she's been inspired by me. She started a podcast after I did and is now going out on tour. So I like to think that I am one of Dr. Jane Goodall's biggest influences. I'm not. But yeah, she'll be on tour in September, hitting just a few places in the United States, in California and Massachusetts and New York. But worth checking out if you would like to try to see Dr. Goodall live. We've been talking recently on here about the fact that the coral around Miami has been bleaching and is very likely to reach the point of no return soon. Well, we now have some good news on that front, which is that coral rescued off Key Biscayne this month have now spawned at a lab at the University of Miami. The fact that they are spawning means that the coral is still okay and doing all right. And also, if these babies become viable, they will be reintroduced once the water has calmed down a little bit. So obviously, still really tough times for the coral. There's no guarantee that these babies will take. There's no guarantee that the temperatures will calm down in time to stop the bleaching in the wild from becoming permanent. But at least there is a little ray of hope right now, which is better than the ridiculous rays of really hot sunshine that are causing this issue in the first place. Australian conservationists are celebrating a victory as platypus have officially been reintroduced to the Royal National Park. This is really exciting news as they have not been there for a long time, and hopefully there will be some breeding and some other good natural behaviors, and the population can start to thrive there again. Because it turns out that platypus are actually pretty darn good at adapting in some cases when giving the chance. For instance, platypuses have been confirmed to be living near the development areas in Sydney's Northwestern Hills District. Now, Sydney is obviously a big city, and this is the first time since 1998 that platypuses have been confirmed to be living in waterways near the urban areas in the northern fringe of Sydney. So this is really exciting news for the species, as is the reintroduction. So, just lots of good platypus news this week, y'all. Scientists at Ocean X recently went on a mission in the waters of Norway and discovered a potential new species of jelly. This species would be one of the few that doesn't swim around so much, but only leaves the seafloor for a short time. This does make them rather challenging to catch and even to observe unless you're right down there at the seafloor. But while it does look similar to some other jelly species out there, there is reason to believe that the DNA will be different and prove that this is yet another new species of jelly. It's kind of amazing how much new stuff we're still finding in the oceans. On a much sadder note, the International Whaling Commission has issued its first ever extinction alert in its 70-year history to warn of the danger facing the vaquita, the world's tiniest and most critically endangered marine mammal. The population lives in the Gulf of California in Mexico, and it is believed to be down to 10 individuals. And this happens mostly because of them getting caught in fishing nets known as gill nets, which are now illegal in the area but are still being used. While conservationists are working very hard to try to save the remaining population and also figure out a way to stop them from going extinct, it's very likely that we will see the end of the existence of vaquita in the very near future. Okay, so let's have some happier news, and this barely qualifies as conservation news, but I wanted to tell you this because I think that connecting with nature is so important and does make people care more about conserving it. And that is that as of now, all national parks in the United States are free to enter. While there were some national parks that were free, most of them had entrance fees anywhere between $8 and $50 per person. This was actually something that went into effect this last week, but was initially put forth as part of the Great American Outdoors Act, which was a law that was signed in 2020 by former President Donald Trump. It gives $900 million to make more than 2,200 public places in the U.S. and its territories better, and also promises to provide enough money every year to take care of these parks. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of giving, you know, props to that former president, but that's a pretty cool law, and I'm pretty glad that it got passed. And now if you want to go to any national park in the U.S., you can go commune with nature. Don't build cairns. Don't knock cairns down unless you're allowed to at that park. I have to bring this back to the last couple of weeks. But yeah, you can go to a national park, and it's pretty exciting. And then you won't have to think about the fact that we're probably going to lose vaquitas very soon. Ah, crap. Sorry. Didn't mean to bring that up again. All right, some great news out of Sandcob in Africa, where there are now laws that have been passed which implement fishing limitations around 6 African penguin breeding colonies for a minimum of 10 years, with a review after 6 years, so it might get extended if it's going well. These 6 colonies are, where a lot of breeding takes place for a very endangered penguin, the African penguin. So the idea of keeping fishing away from there and making the food source for the penguins more plentiful, if actually, enforced and implemented properly, is a big deal for these penguins. So very exciting news. And then the final bit of conservation news this week is about Papua New Guinea and the Inaugal tribe, which is an indigenous tribe that lives there. These landowners have committed to protect 46.3 square miles of forest on their land. This will protect the forest from logging and still allow sustainable use of natural resources within marked zones in that area of the forest. This is a huge win for the animals that live in this area of the forest, including tree kangaroos.
It's time for other news. It's time for other news. Hey, now, right now, it's time. It's time for other news. Hey, it's a segue to the part called other news.
A North American river otter recently attacked some people who were floating down the river peacefully, not interacting with the otter and not causing any trouble. And it was really scary. The people were injured and had to go to the hospital. They got bitten in the face, the ears, which I guess are part of the face, but still, arms, hands, legs, ankles, all over the place. One of the people got their thumb shredded, and 2 of them got bitten right on the butt. They were in the middle of the water, just floating down the water, and so they couldn't reach the bottom. So when the otter attacked them, it was able to do a lot of damage, and they couldn't really do anything to fight back. So I share this story, first of all, because it's an important reminder that we should not mess with wildlife, which they were not. I'll get to that in a second. But just a reminder that wildlife is wild. And while we see river otters in the zoos and stuff being adorable, they're also protected contact, even in captivity. And they are that for a reason. Friendly reminder to not mess with animals in the wild, even though we love them. But then also I bring it up because people started commenting on the news stories about this, saying, oh, these people must have been being rude to the otters and attacking the otters, and the otters were just doing self-defense and bloody-bloody-blue. That is apparently just not the case. the people involved all share the same story, and they did not do anything to this otter. They were just attacked. But what happened is people were speculating on social media, and then news, and sometimes I'm loath to call them that, sources online started reporting on the people commenting on that, just saying like, oh, these are the comments, but then other people ran with that. And then it became the story that, oh yeah, these people were messing with an otter, and then the otter attacked them. And now all of the people who were not only victimized by the otter are being doxxed online and victimized online and stuff. And just stop it. Just stop. The internet, stuff like this just drives me crazy. But yeah, so this is an example of people doing nothing wrong and getting attacked by an animal, and then getting attacked by the far more vicious internet. Now, for your friendly reminder that alligators are not good pets. Recently, right outside of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania, people started reporting seeing an alligator in the river. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but alligators aren't supposed to be in the rivers around Pittsburgh. And as such, Chomper, as the alligator has been named, was captured and taken into a rehab where Chomper is learning to live life as an alligator in captivity. It is going to be used as an animal ambassador to provide educational programs about reptiles, including that alligators do not make good pets, because guess what? Most likely how this alligator got into a river in Pittsburgh is someone got one as a pet, realized it doesn't make a good pet, and released it into the river. On a side note, the way this alligator was caught was a fisherman just boated up next to it, grabbed a front and back leg, and pulled it into the boat. So it's pretty good that Chomper is not a particularly aggressive alligator, because don't do that. Yeah, if you ever see an alligator in the water, report it properly, and don't do that. All right, well, there you go. Story about an alligator that was found in Pennsylvania. Glad we have moved on from that. All right, moving on to our next story, which is about Fluffy. Fluffy is a former pet alligator that was recently rescued in the Antietam Creek in Berks County, Pennsylvania. Guys, what is going on? As a Pennsylvanian, I am offended by this. This is not okay. Remember, there is an alligator at Reptiland right now that was also found just a couple weeks ago. This is becoming a thing. So yeah, apparently, in this case though, the owner did not mean for Fluffy to get away, and actually tried to go and retrieve the alligator. But the examination that was done to the alligator found that she was in a deplorable state, where she was underweight and showing signs of deformity around her mouth, most likely caused by being housed in an inappropriately sized enclosure, because this alligator, which is 10 years old, was being kept in a 75-gallon aquarium. That is not okay. The alligator is about 2.5 feet long right now and should be 6 feet long, if not longer, by the age of 10. So there are all kinds of other issues, which I'm not going into because they make me sad. But sadly, it's okay for Fluffy to be owned by this person. So Fluffy was returned to its owner. And now the Animal Rescue League worked with animal welfare officers who will be going and staying in touch with Fluffy's owner and performing welfare checks. And Fluffy will be removed from the house if not properly cared for anymore. But so Fluffy's back home with Dad, I guess. And the whole story's kind of gross. And Pennsylvania, you're kind of embarrassing me, yo. Oh, and going back to that whole getting attacked by nature thing while not doing anything wrong, Peggy Jones, a woman in Texas, was mowing her lawn last month when a hawk that had grabbed a snake accidentally dropped it on her. The snake wrapped itself around her arm and began striking her face, but the hawk didn't drop it on purpose and was still hungry. So the hawk also dove down and sunk its talons deep into her arm while trying to reclaim the snake. Just an absolutely crazy story. The hawk got the snake, and the woman got to the hospital, and everything was fine. Her husband got her to the hospital. There were puncture wounds, cuts, abrasions, scratches, and bruising, but she was fine other than for the whole, trauma thing. She's having a hard time sleeping since then. But yeah, it's just another crazy animal thing that happened, and also a reminder that nature is metal. That's the thing the kids say, right? Metal. Nature is metal. All right. Let's move on.
Animal holidays. Animal holidays.
All right, and that brings us to your animal holidays for the week. It is currently August, which is National Parks Month, and they are now free. National Catfish Month, and those are also free if you go fishing or if you get tricked online by somebody who is messing with you and pretending they want to date you. That's usually free. August is for Antelope Month and Asian Elephant Awareness Month. And then for your individual days, the 11th is World Krill Day, the 12th is World Elephant Day and World Horola Day. The 13th is Action Indonesia Day and International Wolf Day. The 14th is World Lizard Day. The 15th is the Day of the Cotton Top Tamarin. And then the 17th is Black Cat Appreciation Day. And those are your animal holidays for the week. All right, so there you have it, folks. Rossifari Zoo News is in the bag for another week. I'd like to say thank you to Laura Schenk and Stephen Williamson, my Red Panda level patrons, and remind y'all that you can support the pod for as little as $3 a month by going to patreon.com/Rossifari. You'll get some bonus audio from some episodes, and actually, I've started working on a brand new thing for my patrons that'll be dropping soon. I'll be sharing more information about that, but I think that my patrons will be very excited about it, and if you're not a patron, you'll be more tempted to become one after you hear what it is. I'd also like to say thank you to everybody who contributed this week, including Anya Keene, Colleen Lenahan, Kim Cooley, Carrie Kirkpatrick, Kevin Williams, Emily Rockbuck, Laura Schenk, Jacob Zinn, Elizabeth Dunlevy, Marianne Rossi, Dale Obermark, Dr. Zoe Rossi, Ken Tryon, Ali Malensky, Jay Meredith, Becca Robinson, and Kelly Roush. And remember, friends, the words Newsy credits backwards are Steiderk Yiswen. The Rossifari podcast is produced, hosted, and engineered by John Rossi. Editing and fact-checking by John and Dr. Zoe Rossi. Our theme song is Sevens by Nathan Burke, performed by Nathan and John. Interrupting John theme and additional voices by Taylor Isaac Gray. You can reach John directly on Instagram and Facebook at Rossifari or by email at rossifaripod@gmail.com. Rossifari is part of the Daydreamer Media Network. Now, stop listening to me and go visit a zoo. They are currently awaiting test results, which hopefully will shed light on the physical fitness, well-being, reproduction, and iron overlord. No, overlord. What kind of Marvel ripoff is this?